We're going to have an interesting discussion today about 5 interesting things that we could change on the upcoming ban list that might make players go, what the fuck? And it's a strange concept to say that because we have a very strong feeling that the Rank Up Magic is going to get banned. Saruja should be hit. But there are some things that I kind of wanted to talk about here that might potentially happen that could be interesting for the development of the game. So, show some love on this video, show some likes, and let's dig on into that discussion, shall we? Alright, so I've had a few talks with people, and these are 5 cards that could potentially have something happen to them on the list. And first up is Dark Matter Dragon. Look at me. Alright, this card has been nothing but a problem since its existence. I've heard the argument about wanting to ban Goliath. I've heard the argument for wanting to ban Agripane and stuff. And this video kind of be like, we're going to dance around a few things here, because Agripane and LP would be interesting hits, but Dark Matter Dragon being a super fat level 8, 4000, that his whole existence has just been mill 3 from the deck, and he's accessible in essentially every extra deck that can get to this stage. But he's been nothing but problems since his existence. Now, unless there's something strange happening, I don't particularly know if this is going to happen. This just kind of feels like more of a cleanup in the future kind of thing. But even in today's format, he's still a little bit of a jerk because just, there goes the Archbrave, there goes the Goliath, like, hi, like, nobody wants to deal with that. But Dark Matter, I couldn't see it going. Like, this is just kind of one of those, we're going to clean up the dragon archetype, you know, no more bullshit, because it's either this or Red Eyes Darkness Metal at some point. The OCG took care of Red Eyes Darkness Metal for the bullshit OTK the FTK that they had with Gandora. For those of you that don't know, Gandora works differently in the OCG. Gandora X, the Dragon Destruction, actually is current attack, not original attack. So, that's... that had to go for that consistent pile of OTK garbage that they had. But yeah, I actually think that we will probably actually see a Dark Matter ban at some point in the card's life. I'm actually surprised this card is still banned. Now next up, this one was interesting. Skyblaster, for the most part, has... how do I say this? This card's been nothing but a pain in my ass. Alright, we've already started wanting to check token abuse, and I'm under the assumption that we're probably going to see Saruja get checked somewhere along the way here. But you still have this monster that literally says, if you have another monster on the field and you summon it, make 2 free tokens. In a format where link summoning is relevant. I think we will probably see this card go to 1 at some point. I actually think this card should have went to 1 already. I don't know... I guess it's because it takes up a normal summon to do its thing, but like, you've already seen this card be abusable at this point, and we've seen it in Danger Thunder for the longest time. Actually, Orcust were abusing it too. Literally on summon, make tokens, link them out. Alright, like, totally fair, right? But if we don't hit Saruja, we're definitely going to do something about token generation and things like that. Once again, this is just one of those, should have been hit a long time ago, we need to clean this up. And also, I know a lot of players are going to be like, what the fuck, why are we hitting Skyblaster? The card's problematic. It does generate these issues index, and I know there'll be the one person's like, no, not my token generator. Like, calm down, guys. Token abuse is... monsters that can spam tokens for no reason. Look at Scapegoat. There's a reason why it's limited, and nobody wanted to deal with that. Especially in Trickstar, you know, defensive generation and things like that. Yeah, it's not a good time. So I will say this: probably don't be surprised to see some sort of hit on Skyblaster sooner than later. But I think that one's a good one. Now next up is actually Borrelsword. So we're not doing, we're banning Borrelsword. Just get it out of here. Alright, we have opted to basically say we're not touching the mermaid, which we got to go to the next best thing. Alright, like that Link 4, that OTKs is pretty dumb. Now, I do believe we have a reprint on Borrelsword on the way, which might contradict this statement, but when you have a card that you have access to at all points in game, now, I think a lot of people misunderstand why main deck boss monsters, while they might be broken, you have to draw these cards. Meanwhile, I have them in my extra deck. I can make them at any stage in the game. People don't understand the value of just it's here versus it could be here, and it's a little bit bewildering to me. If you understand this, thank you. I've been trying to explain this for a long time, but it's a strange concept, I know. But there's a reason why Borrelsword was worth so much money, because he's here at any time. You want to OTK your opponent? I can do it. Versus, oh no, my gotcha. Fuck. We didn't pull what I want. Like, literally, like, that's how it works. You know? So, I think taking away the guaranteed OTK aspect of consistency away from decks and force them to do other things might not be a bad thing. I think Borrelsword, in his lifetime, will probably, eventually, possibly, definitely, man, those were a lot of describing words, but we will probably see him get the axe at some point, because the card is too good. Like, I'm not going to be the first to tell you that. Fucking dual attacks to kill your opponent, yeah, and access to it at any point in the game? Sure. Fuck yeah. Let's do this. It's totally fair, right? Now, next up, we actually have a ban on Isolde. And this one's funny to me, because we're done with Noble Knight support, as far as I know. We're not making any more. We're done for now. All right, like, so when I look at Isolde, I'm like, okay, so do we want to ban Summon Sorceress? Do we want to leave Summon Sorceress alone? So we're like, we're gonna leave Summon Sorceress. She's fine. Now we come back. We've seen every single warrior engine in existence abusing this card. Maybe it's time to cut off the nuts. Just get rid of it. You know, we don't have to deal with Isolde anymore if we just ban it. Now, the trade-off to Isolde was you had to play anywhere from 4 to 6 dead draw equips in your deck to make it good, but we've only ever just seen this card be abusable. Combined with Aqua Dolphin, combined with the Neospatian Connector. I mean, I would make the argument you could go after Connector and limit it to 1. Okay, there's that. Or you could ban Aqua Dolphin. But I don't think we want to really touch the Neospatian engine because consistency, fan favorite, things like that. I don't think we go after that. I also understand that, like, versus Isolde versus Summon Sorceress, you would want to go after the Summon Sorceress and leave the Isolde, but I actually just think that probably cutting and just getting rid of Isolde probably just fixes a bunch of problems, because the whole warrior engine has been nothing but degeneracy at this point. And I actually think that we could have a better metagame just by simply amputating and getting rid of it. But the what the fuck factor here is, wow, we got rid of Isolde over Summon Sorceress? What terrible, terrible calls. Yeah, I know, right? But Isolde's been nothing but a problem. Just get rid of it in today's metagame. That would be fine by me. Now, the last strange abnormality that they could actually do here would be putting grass back to 1. The original reason why grass was banned was because allowing your deck to have large amounts of resource time. In a format with Norden and things like that, if I mill 20 cards from my deck, I then start taking longer with my turns. And when you have cards that expand open the gameplay, it really is punishing. And especially when you have a card that punishes your opponent for going through more of their deck. The card overall was just piss poor design, but adding the card back into the equation, the good side of the card is, hey, 60 card decks become viable again. Unfortunately, as we saw near the end of the card's life, with the card being limited to 1, it really becomes a sack factor. Either you have the Ash, or you watch your opponent combo you out and you just lose. The deck was, for better words, sacky, but, you know, it's that. And the bad side is you can lose the game out of nowhere against the deck by bringing it back. You have to deal with more people taking more time in their rounds, which is already ridiculous in itself with your skill trees that you can do, and almost too many options. And it's a strange thing to say that, because more options means more plays, which means more fuck up, which means more arguments, which means more bad on the Yu-Gi-Oh community's part. Yeah, I know, all caused from one card. Strange, I know. But definitely one of the more interesting things that Konami could actually do would be bringing grass back to one. It would definitely spicing up the game a little bit. I just think that the negatives outweigh the positives. Yes, you do turn the entire game on its head for the existence of one card and allow a bunch of decks to formally play, but I don't think the negatives just, they're too much for what it's worth. So these are the 5 things that I think Konami could do. I would really make us go, what, on the next list? So please, comment down below, tell me what you guys think. Do you agree with these? Obviously, there are plenty more, but yeah, I guess you could always just unban Painful Choice, but that'd be painful, right? Alright guys, peace out. The ride never, well, truly ends. Thank you, patrons. Without you guys, I don't know what I'd be wearing in these videos. I might be a truffle shuffle incident all over again. Guys, please also check out Vanquil40 for some awesome Vanguard content. Some other interesting stuff you might find up here on the left or in the description as well. Thanks for watching.